Good morning, dear students. I am Vasudev Lokalapaina, TGT Bioscience from Tirumalayapalam, Khammam region. I am sure all of you have taken your breakfast, right? I think you have taken nutritious breakfast, right? Before entering into the session, let me ask you simple questions, children. Do you eat same kind of breakfast every day? I don't think so. We prefer to eat variety of food, yes or no? Not only breakfast, we prefer to eat a variety of food items, right? Now another simple question for you. Why do we eat food, children? Yeah, I am able to get you. Yes, for energy. Yes. Now I am giving a lecture and you are listening to my lecture and cameraman is shooting my lecture. All these activities requires energy. Yes or no? Children, do you know? While we are in rest also we need energy. So all this energy is coming from the food we eat. You know that, children, food is having nutrients and we get energy from that food. Yes. Now let me ask another question. Dear children, from where do we get food? Yeah, from where do we get food? Yes, I am able to get you. Yes, we get most of the food from plants and also we depend on animals for food. Children, now you observe this slide, children. Yeah, you can see plant sources and animal sources. In plants, you can observe fruits, vegetables, cereals, pulses and many more. Coming to animal food, you can see milk, meat, egg, etc. Yes or no? Yeah. So here my question is, children, why do we depend on animals for food? Yes. So for this growing population, the food alone from the plants may not fulfill the needs of our society. So we have to depend on animals for food. And also we require animal nutrients, children. So today we are going to discuss production of food from animals. Today our topic is production of food from animals. Yes, since a long time, man used animals not only for his food or other things, he also used for agriculture and transportation, children. So today in our short session, we are going to learn about animal husbandry, today in our short session, we are going to discuss animal husbandry, definition and different types starting from cattle rearing, poultry, apiculture, and pisciculture or fish farming, children. So today we are going to discuss animal husbandry starting from cattle rearing, poultry, apiculture and pisciculture. So first of all, let us discuss what is cattle rearing. So dear children, what is cattle first? Do you know what is cattle? Yeah, a group of animals such as buffaloes, cows, bison, which are reared for their milk and meat are called as cattle, children. Yes, so these cattle are reared, means they are raised for their milk or meat, children. So these cattle are not only used for food, they are also used for agriculture and many other purposes, children. So observe this slide, children. So sorry, first of all we have to know the definition of animal husbandry, afterwards we will enter into cattle rearing. So here animal husbandry, what is the animal husbandry definition? Providing food. So we have to give food to the animals and we have to give shelter, the place to live, you can see in the slide, place to live, and we have to protect the animals and we have to help the animals in breeding. So what is the meaning of breeding, children? Breeding. Yes, mating and production of offsprings by the animals is called as breeding. So we have to follow all these practices. We have to give food, shelter, protection and breeding of animals. This process is called as animal husbandry, children. And in animal husbandry, the cattle rearing is the first one. I told you already what cattle rearing is. So now you can see the slide, cattle rearing. Yeah. On one side of the slide, you can see the cattle are rearing in the open area and the other side you can see the cattle are rearing in the sheds. Generally, children, in villages, people used to rear cattle. They used to appoint a person for cattle rearing. that person will take that cattle to that fields, and he used to be paid by the villagers. But nowadays what they are doing, children, what farmers are doing, children, they are rearing most of these cattle in the sheds. So there only the food and all the protection is given. So I too brought a small little cattle shed to show for you. This cattle shed, I too brought a little cattle shed to show for you. This is just generally prepared by broomsticks and cardboard sheets, children. This is a cattle shed. So here only fodder is given. Fodder means the food which is given to the animals. So this fodder is green grass, dry grass, and oil seed cakes of groundnut, and many more are given. Mainly the fodder which should be given to the cattle is should be rich in roughages. So this is a little cattle shed. Yeah. So cattle are reared. So simply rearing the cattle, what we have to do, what one should follow? Yes, most of the times what happens is the sheds become unclean due to the wastage of because of the urine and dung and other fodder waste. What happens is the cattle sheds become unclean. So we have to keep the sheds clean and hygienic. Dear children, cattle also get diseases. You don't think that cattle will not get diseases. Cattle will get diseases like us. You know, in cattle, Galikuntu, which is also called as foot and mouth disease, is partially seen in cows and buffaloes, whereas in sheep and goats, worm infections or Nattala Vyadhi. So Galikuntu is a disease which is occurring to the cattle. It is partially seen in cows and buffaloes. It is also called as foot and mouth disease. And coming to sheep and goats, worm infections, this is also called as Nattala Vyadhi. So we have to protect these animals from diseases. We have to provide the hygienic shelter, and we have to vaccinate those animals, children. And we have to even provide, because in rainy season they will suffer from the mosquito bites, we have to even provide mosquito nets. Yeah, children. So if any problem occurs, we can consult a veterinary doctor. Who is a veterinary doctor, children? Yeah, who is a veterinary doctor? Yes, the doctor who deals with the health of the animals is called as veterinary doctor. So if any problem is occurring, we can consult a veterinary doctor. So this is a cattle rearing, and we have to give good food, good fodder. Fodder means food which is given. So good quality of fodder will give us good quality of milk or meat or other products, children. So we have to give good feed, and we have to keep the sheds clean and the place clean, and we have to get the animals vaccinated. So this is about cattle rearing, children. Now let us observe the next slide. Yeah. What can you see in the slide, children? Yeah, it is a pie diagram. Here my question: from where do we get milk? Yeah, it's a simple question. We get milk from cows, buffaloes, donkey, camel, goat and sheep. But children, generally in our country, cows play a vital role in milk production, children. So after that, buffaloes, donkey, camel, goat, sheep also gives milk, but in our country, cows play a vital role in milk production, children. Generally among cows also, traditional varieties or local varieties, they give around 2 to 5 liters of milk per day. They give around how many liters? 2 to 5 liters of milk per day. But foreign varieties of cattle, they give around 25 liters of milk per day, children. For example, you can see in the next slide, children. Yeah, there you can see foreign varieties of cattle and local varieties of cattle. So foreign varieties of cattle, you can see Holstein, which is from Denmark country, and Jersey, which is from England. These foreign varieties of cattle will give around 25 liters of milk per day, children. Coming to local varieties of cattle, you can see Gir and Sahiwal. Here, the main importance of these local varieties of cattle is they are resistant to diseases. Whereas foreign varieties of cattle importance is they give more milk. But nowadays, what farmers are doing, you know, children? They are crossbreeding this local variety with the foreign variety, and we are getting the crossbreed in which both the desirable characters are present, children. So if we breed a foreign variety with a local variety, we get two characters in the crossbreed. So we get high milk production, we get more disease resistance. So this is about foreign and local varieties of cattle, children. Now observe the next. So this is about the foreign varieties and local varieties of cattle, children. Right. Now let me tell you what is the importance of milk. Why milk? Why should one drink milk? Yeah, milk is an excellent source of protein, children. Milk is an excellent source of protein. It is having many minerals such as calcium, phosphorus, potassium, and it is having many vitamins also. You know, it is regarded as complete food, children. Calcium, which is good for your teeth and bones, is present in milk. So children, please drink milk daily and stay healthy. You know, our society is also giving you milk and milk products for you in order to keep you healthy. So don't say from now onwards, I don't like milk. Please don't say like that. You have to drink milk for your good health. Now, okay, milk is okay. Now let me explain you about pasteurization. What is that, children? Pasteurization. Have you ever seen a milk packet? Yes, on the milk packet it is written as pasteurized milk. What is it, children? Pasteurized milk. Then what is pasteurized milk and what is pasteurization? Now I will explain you. Yes, what is pasteurization? Yes, the process, it is a process by which milk is boiled at 63 degrees Celsius or 145 degree Fahrenheit for a period of 30 minutes. Dear children, milk is boiled at 63 degrees Celsius for a period of 30 minutes and immediately it is cooled below 10 degrees Celsius and stored. This process is called as pasteurization. Sir, why are you saying that milk is heated and it is cooled and it is stored? What is the main reason why we are pasteurizing milk? Yes, children, the pasteurization of milk kills the harmful microorganisms which are present in milk. There are many destructive disease causing organisms in milk that have to be killed by the process of pasteurization, children. Sir, then why it is named as pasteurization? Yeah, this process was invented by a famous scientist, Louis Pasteur. So it is called as pasteurization. So did you understand the process of pasteurization, children? Yes. Now let me tell you about the great man, milkman of India. Who is he? Who is he? Who is the milkman of India? Milkman of India. He is also called as father of white revolution in India. Who is he, children? Yes, I am able to hear you. Professor Verghese Kurian. Professor Verghese Kurian. He is also called as father of white revolution in India. Father of white revolution in India. Why is he called as father of white revolution in India, sir? Yes, he worked very hard, He worked very hard in order to improve the milk production in our country. He proposed many innovative activities like production of hybrid varieties of cows, hybrid varieties of buffaloes, milk preservation, storage, all these he proposed many innovative activities, children. And children, you remember, this is most important. They may ask you in any type of exam, who is the father of white revolution? He is none other than Professor Verghese Kurian. Yes. So there is a scheme, children, Operation Flood. What is it, children? Operation Flood. Under the scheme, the milk production in India, it has been increased tremendously. So this is about pasteurization and the milkman of India, Verghese Kurian. Okay, sir, we understood about milk and we understood about this pasteurization and all the things. Sir, do we get only milk from cattle? No. We even get meat from cattle? Yes, you get meat also from cattle. That meat is an also excellent source of protein and many other nutrients. So now let us discuss what are the other uses of cattle. What are the other uses of cattle? Yes, first and foremost, manure. Have you ever heard manure? Yes, manure. We get manure from the waste of the animals, from the excreta of the animals. We get manure to the fields. You have listened about Panchagavya. What is it, children? Panchagavya. Panchagavya. What are the ingredients of Panchagavya? Cow milk, cow curd, cow ghee, cow urine, cow dung, and many other products are combined to form Panchagavya, which is an excellent manure to the fields. So excreta of cattle is also used as a manure, and you know Gomutra, which is coming from cow urine, is also used in medicine. And what about other uses, sir? Yeah, they are also used in their bones. Animals' bones are used in fertilizer industry. The bones of the animals are used in fertilizer industry, children. Even the bones of the animals are useful. And now leather. We get leather from the animals. We get leather from the animals. This leather is also useful in leather industry, and we also get biogas from the animals. And last but not the least, they are used in agriculture, transportation, and preparation of many products. So there are other uses of cattle too. Hope you have understood about cattle rearing. Now let us discuss the next type of animal husbandry, that is poultry. Observe the slide, children. Yeah. Poultry. Production and rearing of hens on a large scale. So we have to rear hens on a large scale. Why do we rear hens on a large scale? Don't think that large scale means on a large scale we have to grow hen. In more number we have to grow hen. So for what we rear hen generally? For their eggs and for their delicious chicken or meat. Yes. So we rear hens for those. This process is called as poultry. And in the slide you can see two types of poultry farms. In the slide you can see two types of poultry farms. Yeah, number one is layers, number two is broilers. You can see layers and broilers. Sir, what are layers and what are broilers, sir? Layers. Layers are reared extensively for their eggs, whereas broilers are reared for their meat. I know you are familiar with this broiler chicken. So from broiler we get chicken, and from layer we get eggs. Sir, what is the importance of eggs, sir? What is the importance of egg? So children, observe this egg. Yeah, egg. So eggs are a rich source of high quality protein, and it is inexpensive food, children. It is very much low cost. So in egg there are many sources of vitamins and minerals. They are also having selenium, vitamin B6, vitamin B12, and zinc, iron, copper. These all are present in egg. So there is a slogan. When I was coming to the TSAT studio, I was waiting outside. I have seen an advertisement. That advertisement is about NECC. What is that advertisement, children? It is about NECC. What is the full form of NECC? National Egg Coordination Committee. So National Egg Coordination Committee. There is a slogan I have seen in the ad. If you eat an egg daily, you will stay healthy. So children, if you will eat an egg daily, you will stay healthy. So that is the slogan which is given by NECC. Hope you will consume these eggs. And we are also, our government is also providing you eggs. And children, this is about layers, broilers, and all the things, children. Now let us observe the next slide. Yeah, hatching. Please observe the slide, children. Hatching. Yeah, what is hatching? What is hatching? Simple. Production of chicks from the eggs. So from eggs, small chicks come out. That process is called as hatching. Yes. Sir, in the slide, you show two types of pictures, sir. One is natural hatching and the other one is artificial hatching. What is this, sir? What is the difference between these two? Yeah, your doubt is that. So I will clarify that doubt. This natural hatching is done by placing a broody hen, a mother hen on the eggs. So here the eggs will hatch, but the number of eggs hatched will be around 10 to 12, that's it. But coming to this artificial hatching, machines are used, children. That artificial hatching, incubators, machines are used. We can hatch many number of eggs in that machine, so at a time. So this process is called as artificial hatching, children. This process is called as artificial hatching. Hope you have understood about hatching, natural, artificial hatching. So children, okay, sir, you explained us about layers, broilers, eggs importance, and meat is also important. It is a rich source of protein, and you explained us about hatching. Then, sir, what care should be taken to the poultry? What a farmer should follow in the poultry? Poultry care should be taken, children. The sheds of the poultry or hen should be kept clean and neat. And also, we have to give good fodder to the poultry, because they too will suffer from many diseases like fowl cholera, colibacillosis, and many more diseases. So we have to take care of the health of this poultry. Yes. Hope you have understood about this poultry. Now let us jump into another type of animal husbandry, apiculture. Observe the slide, children. Apiculture. So in the slide itself you will have the definition, culture of honeybees. So honeybees are cultured or grown. For what honeybees are grown, children? For honey. For what honeybees are grown, children? For honey. So you can see this honey. You can see this honey. Yes. So for honey, honeybees are cultured. And my dear students, you can observe in the slide, there are three types of, you can see a beehive, and after that picture you can see three types of bees in a beehive colony. There are three types of bees in a beehive colony. Those three types of bees are queen, worker, drone. There are three types of bees in a honeybee hive. One is queen, worker, and drone. So what is queen? So queen is a female bee. It is only once. It is single. In a colony it is only one. Its main purpose is to lay eggs. It lays eggs around 800 to 1200 eggs per day, and its lifespan is around 2 to 3 years. And coming to worker, workers are sterile females. Sir, what is sterile female, sir? Sterile female means the organism which is unable to produce young ones is called as sterile female. So in workers are, thousands of workers are present in a honeybee hive, children, and its work is performing outdoor duties like collection of nectar and pollen. You know, honeybees prepare honey by collection of nectar and pollen. So it collects the nectar and pollen and many other duties, and its lifespan is around 5 to 6 weeks. And coming to drone, this fellow is a male member of this colony. He is a lazy male. Lazy male, he is lazy, he will not do any work, he will just participate in mating with the queen. So these are the three types of honeybees in a honeybee hive. Hope you have understood about this honeybee hive and the types of bees. Right, sir. Now I brought a honeycomb. I brought a honeycomb, children. Please observe this honeycomb. Yes. So no honeybees, don't worry, no honeybees. These cells are, what is the shape of these cells? Observe. You know mathematical shapes? Yes. You know triangle? So this shape is hexagonal. Observe the board, children. So in mathematics, you know shapes, triangle. It is having how many sides? 1, 2, 3 sides. Coming to here, honeycomb cells are hexagonal. What is hexagonal? it is having 6 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hexagonal is having 6 sides. Pentagonal will have 5 sides. Octagonal will have 8 sides. So in this hexagonal cells are how many children? 6 sides. Okay. Sir, we get honey from the honeybees. What is the importance of honey, sir? Yes, honey is the best. Honey is always the best. It is used in medicine. It is used for wounds and burns. It is a good antiseptic. You know, if you go back to history in Rig Veda, 2000 and 3000 BC only, they have written in that book about honeybees and honey. They named it as divine food, children. So this is about honey, and from this apiculture we also get bee wax and bee venom. Bee wax, from bee wax nail polishes, candles and creams, lip balms are produced from the bee wax, and from bee venom, the poison of bee venom is also used in the homeopathic treatment. From bee venom we get apis tincture. What is that, children? Apis tincture. Yes. So we get medicines from the honeybees too, honeybees venom too. And children, a beekeeper has to follow some management techniques, because these honeybee hives are in a danger from various pests and predators. You know, dragonflies, wasps, moths and fish, what is that, kingfish, crow, all these attack these honeybee hives. And you know, during the period of drought, other colony honeybee hives come and attack this honeybee hive. So the beekeeper have to follow many management techniques. So children, from these honeybees we have to learn main thing, children. They are social insects. They are social insects. They live in colonies. They live in colonies. And if we will disturb the colony, the others will disturb you. That is sure. You know about honeybees very well. So, and they are excellent pollinators of the field, but nowadays because of excess use of insecticides, they are becoming extinct. And this apiculture is an important and eco-friendly activity which you can get money. And next and last one, last slide, last type of animal husbandry is fisheries. Observe the slide, children. Fisheries. Observe the slide, children. Yes. Pisciculture. Yes, pisciculture. What is pisciculture or what is fish farming? Simple. Rearing of fish for their meat and other products is called fish farming or pisciculture. So here fishes are reared. And children, this fish farming, you will confuse with the word pisciculture and aquaculture. Aquaculture is different. Aquaculture involves the culture of fishes along with other aquatic organisms like prawns, oyster and many organisms. Whereas here fish farming or pisciculture involves only the rearing of fishes for their meat. And children, there are two types of fisheries, children. Fisheries means where fishes are reared. So there are two types of fisheries, children. One is inland fishery and the other one is marine fishery. Simple, children, inland fisheries. So the fishes which are reared, which are grown in fresh water such as rivers, reservoirs, etc., ponds, etc., is called as inland fisheries. And marine fisheries are reared in the salt water such as sea and ocean, children. And from inland fisheries there are many examples like katla, katrana. It is not katrina, children, it is katrana. It is a type of inland fish variety, rohu, etc. Coming to marine fisheries, there are many examples like tuna, catfish, sardine, mackerel and many more. Many more types of marine fishes are present. These are of high economical value and wonderful nutritious food, children. Fishes are also expensive. It is not, they are not expensive actually. Highly rich in animal protein, children. They are rich in calcium, iodine and potassium also, and they are rich in omega fatty acids. So you have to take fishes. And children, you can observe the slide. There are two types of fishing, traditional fishing and mechanized fishing. Simple, children. Traditional fishing, the fisherman used to catch fishes for with the using of drag nets and nets and arrows, etc. Whereas mechanized fishing, they use machines to catch fish. The fisherman used to catch tons of fish every day. So this is called as mechanized fishing. And children, fishes are highly perishable. So we have to preserve them for long time. Salting, pickling, drying, all these are the fish preservative methods. Yes, children. So with this, this fish farming is completed. So summary. So far, observe the slide, children. So far we have discussed cattle farming, poultry farming, fish farming and apiculture. So cattle rearing or cattle farming is rearing of cows and buffaloes for their milk, and poultry farming is rearing of fowls for their eggs and meat, and fish farming is culturing of fish, and apiculture is culturing of honeybees for their honey and wax. Hope you have understood. Now it's time for the social message, children. Animal husbandry in Bangaru, Telangana. Our government is working very hard, children. So they are giving many, they are conducting many programs to improve animal husbandry in Bangaru, Telangana. Cash incentive is given to dairy farmers. Power subsidy is being given to poultry farmers. And many animal health activities, feed border development. And also last one, mass sheep goat deworming program. In our school also, you may have given albendazole tablet. This tablet is to remove worms from your stomach. In the same way, from animal stomach, deworming should be done. And the most important thing is our government also distributed a sheep to Gollakurma communities in order to encourage animal husbandry and self-employment. My dear children, if you will call, in case of emergency in our health, we call 108. That 108 will come very fastly. But what about animals, children? If animals suffer from diseases, what is the number, children? Yes, the toll-free number is 1962. This is a great initiative taken by our Telangana government. They established mobile veterinary clinics, around 100 vehicles, 100 mobile vehicles are there. If you will call 1962, in case of any emergency of the health of the animals, they will come and take that animals to the hospital and they will treat there, they will give vaccination, and there are many more things. So we have to appreciate the Telangana government for encouraging animal husbandry in our state. Yes, it's time for project work, children. So please note down the questions. Simple questions are there. Yes, first question. Why were millions of chicken killed recently? Write the reasons and problems faced by poultry farmers. So why in the recent past millions of chicken were killed? Why? What is the reasons? What are the reasons and problems faced by the poultry farmers? So you can think and write. Think out of the box and write the answer. And coming to second question. Explain how diseases are fast spreading due to globalization and increased movement of people. So how diseases are fast spreading due to globalization and increased movement of people. So this is the project work questions. Finally, I would like to thank our secretary sir and our Khammam regional coordinator Ms. K. Pratyusha, our principal Ms. K. Rama Kalyani, Shashi madam, MRDT and the TSAT people and all my students and my fellow teachers. Thank you so much. Signing off. This is Vasudev.